let me go over to the personal injury standpoint right now. This is where you're at right now. Here's a mistake you don't want to do right now. Do not communicate with those attorneys right now as you're treating these patients. Every re-exam, remember, you're in the fragile part of this relationship, are you not?
Right. Yeah.
You're right now trying to establish your credibility and authority. That's what's going on right now. Okay. And what you don't want to do is not communicate with them. That would be called stupid. So what you do is every re-exam, especially after the first re-exam, you want to report to them. Guess why you want to report to them the status of that? You want to report the status of that patient that you're dealing with. Now, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to report to them the status of that patient after every re-exam? In the beginning, after you've already owned them and you're working together, you don't do that after every re-exam. It's just after the first re-exam. But when you're winning them over, this is part of the process of winning them over. You need to maintain contacts with these people. And because what does contacts do to trust and confidence?
Solidifies it.
It takes it up. It decreases defense and resistance. So number one, you want multiple contacts as you're going through until they finish their care, number one. And then you want the right kind of content. What is the content you should always be talking about with a personal injury attorney?
I mean, the documentation and things you're doing for the injury award and how you're, saving them money.
The problem. You're always talking about what is the problems they're dealing with, and you're talking about how you're solving them. So after you do a re-exam on the patient, and by the way, you think you might want to do this in person, on the phone, or in an email or medical report or a text?
In person would be best.
Exactly. Why? Because you're forging the relationship. Now, I'm not talking about spending an hour or 2 hours, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you want to give a brief report and you want to do it in person because you're trying to establish the relationship, and in person's way better than a medical report. Down the road, you can just send a medical report and it's not that big of a deal after you already have their authority and trust. Right now, you need to apply other factors like multiple contacts and in person to increase your authority and trust. So after each of the reports, say, hey, I'd like to just stop by and give you an update. That's what you say. I'd like to just stop by and give you an update on this patient, whoever the patient is, on John. We just did his re-exam. I'd like to just swing by and give you an update, only take about, say, 10 or 15 minutes. That's all it should take. All right. You go over there and guess what you do now?
I don't know.
Well, you're not allowed to say that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think you need to do based on what you now know?
I mean, you get them talking about their problems.
No, you're already past that. That's not where you are in the relationship anymore. The relationship's moving down the road, so you got to move with it.
You show them your authority and you know how you're putting the case together.
Yeah, but specifically, that's the general answer. The specific answer is you remind them again the 7 major categories and what primary and secondary information you have at this point in time after this re-exam.
Okay.
Remember, you're always reminding them of the structure, not the results of the patient. You remember?
Yeah.
It's more important that they know that you know the categories and the structure, irregardless if it's a negative finding. Remember that?
Yeah.
Don't you get sucked up into the findings. You need to totally focus on the structure, and then what does that patient have relative to the injury award structure? And that's how you report on them. So if I went over there, I'm going to say, okay, here's where we're at with the last re-exam. I'm going to draw the chart real quick. As if you remember the injury award, here's the 7 minimum categories: mechanism of injury, subjective, hybrid, objective, primary, secondary, and multiple categories with subjective, hybrid, and objective. They're not an MMI. This is where they're at with the subjective. They're here with primary, secondary, or a different category. Here's where they're at with the hybrid categories at this point in time. Here's the primary, here's the secondary, here's the categories. Here's where you're at with the primary, secondary, and the categories for the objective category. So that's where we're at this point. And right now we're about wherever you're at in the phases of healing. Right now we're at about halfway through the phases of healing, and they'll probably be at MMI. Give them an estimate. They'll probably be at MMI in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever, depending on where they're at and how they're improving. Just give an estimate so he has an idea, when's this thing going to end? So it looks like the MMI is probably going to be probably in 60, maybe 90 days, something like that. And we'll see where we're at that point. But this is where we stand with this case right now. How much sense did that just make to you?
Yeah, a lot of sense.
That's the format you use every damn time. All right?
Okay.
That's what you need to do with those attorneys right now.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Do you see how you're not going over there for an hour?
Yeah.
I mean, if I were you, I would have just written it down on a piece of paper before I went over there and just pulled out the paper and go, here's the 7 categories. Here's where they're at with each category: subjective, hybrid, optive. Here's the primary. Here's the secondary. And if they have multiple categories or not in that, then there you go. And then all you're doing is walking through the outline with them.
Yeah.
How much of an authority and a badass are you looking like now?
Yeah. Huge.
And you see how it's totally irrelevant of the findings of the patient?
Yeah.
And I'd even say, just give an opinion. Looks like he's going to improve a lot. Looks like it might be some permanent problems here. Just give your opinion, whatever you're seeing. But we're not at MMI yet. We'll see. And of course, you already know if there's a ligament injury, it's already at MMI.
Right.
We already have this. Now we're seeing what else we have to surround it to support it. There you go. Sounds like you might know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you're speaking their language, because what language are you speaking now? Money. You're speaking their language. When you give the 7 categories and what they do and don't have, and remind them of the 4 potential injury awards, that's speaking their language, money. How's this going to come together and transfer to money?
Right.
That's what they want. They want doctors that know how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Am I a black belt in this shit or what?
Yeah, you're the black belt.
This is how you kick ass.
Yeah.
This is how you kick ass.
Yeah.